Metering rod carburetors are not as good as normal old school carburetors, and let me tell you why. I want to show you guys why I don't like metering rod carburetors. We are dealing with Electron, but they all work basically the same. And this is not a bash on the carburetor kind of thing. This is just the reason I personally don't like them. They work fine. Lots of people love them, all that stuff. But I want to show you guys why I personally don't like them. So if we take, here, let's start with the normal carb. So we take this little normal carburetor, 65, super simple, right? Got the float bowl off. And let's start with the picture. All right, guys, so I know most of you know what a carburetor looks like and how they work, but I'm just going to do this for the folks who don't, and this will help me explain why I'm not a big fan. So on a carburetor, we have the intake, that, and this is air going in, and then underneath here, we have a float bowl, and we have jets. So we have a main jet, and we have a little pilot jet, and sometimes we have other jets, but we're going to stick with this, the 65 that we're working with. Then we have a slide, and I know I'm not very good with the drawing, but you guys will get what I'm talking about. We have a slide that comes down, and a needle like that. And what happens is when the air comes in and we lift this slide, and we got the rest of the carburetor up here, and we got a cable, and we pull this slide up, air comes in here, and as it does, this over here is a huge volume of air, and then right here, this is a little tiny volume of air, and so it creates low pressure here relative to this float bowl, which is high pressure, and it pushes the fuel up and into, and it atomizes, basically vaporizes, not quite vaporizing, but you know what I mean. Comes in here as it pulls it out, and then goes bang over here. And so what the reason that a normal carburetor, in my opinion, works better is that there's always this little pilot jet circuit on the engine side of the slide. And you can see that right there. There you go. See that little hole on the front, and that is on the motor side of the slide. And then you've got the bigger hole, you see that brass tube there, that's where the needle goes, and that's the main jet. So the reason that the electrons and things like that are lazy feeling and why I don't like them is the fact that they've only got the one hole. You can see right in there. Now the Electron has this power jet here which supplies more gas later. Again, it's on the air side. This is the air side, this is the motor side. That power jet's on the air side. So once you get the slide out of the way and fuel's going in, it will dump even more fuel, making the thing run really good up top. And that's actually what these are really, really good at. They run really good wide open, which is why they were designed, because they were originally designed for road race two-strokes that spend most of the time up high in the RPM. So they do work very well for that. But they only have the one hole, there you go, right there, where the metering rod goes. So it's like as if you took this out, this pilot jet out, so you don't have this constant dribble of gas that is always ready to dump fuel when you twist the throttle. Because when you twist the throttle, that raises this slide. And since it's a two-stroke, it doesn't have an accelerator pump. So you twist it, and all of a sudden there's just a whole bunch of air and not enough gas. So that pilot circuit helps that to compensate for that, because it's ready. It's already dribbling gas even when the slide's closed, because even when the slide's closed, it's not actually sealing this all the way off. The slide has this cutaway, and it doesn't close all the way because idle. You raising and lowering this with the screw. So it's got that cutaway that allows air to come through there even when the slide is closed, and let that pilot circuit work. So when you crack the throttle, there's already gas going in. Well, that is why I am not a huge fan of the medium rod carburetors because it just does not respond as quickly off idle. Now, I will argue with anyone who says that theirs is just as good off idle. I disagree. Unless you have maybe some of the new medium rod carbs, maybe the Bilotron Pro, maybe the newest smart carb have an idle circuit. I don't know that they do. If they do, we may be dealing with something, a completely different animal, which actually might be really, really good. But as of this Lectron and as of all the smart carbs I've ever seen, there's only the one hole in the bottom. Again, these have the power jet that helps on the top end, but they don't have anything on the bottom, that pilot circuit. So that to me is what they're missing. That is the thing that makes them just not as good. So there you go. That's why I don't like them as much. Again, I know people like them. I know people like the way they run. They're really smooth and all that stuff, and that's great. If that's your thing, that's great. For me, I like when I crack the throttle, I want it to light up right now when I want it to. So there you go. That's why I don't like them.